Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Lenny Robbins YouTube show. Know your politics. Let's come together to create a better understanding for each other by watching what our politicians do and what they say. Now, I did a video earlier, probably about a couple of days ago, and I was not pleased. I have to redo it because honestly, I was not pleased with that presentation. I've listened it over and over and I'm not pleased, so I decided to, do over this video and republish it. And I want to touch on a community in Jamaica, in the central section of Linstead, of St. Catherine in Jamaica, that little town, Linstead. I've become a permanent resident there for, you want to call it invasive resident species in Linstead because I'm not from Linstead. So I'm one of the invasive species. And I've been doing that for that has gone on for about 5 years now. I like the place for its environment. I mean, if you're a nature loving person, it's a beautiful place to be. The view is absolutely amazing for bird watching because I've seen some birds in and around Linstead that I've never seen for years whilst in Jamaica. So I want to start with Linstead because I want to come back to, it's going to take me right into what I really want to talk about. Historically, Linstead is a town known for its vibrant culture, ties, and profound sense of pride in its heritage. The history of Linstead dated back to the colonial era, which from then until now continues to play an integral role in the agricultural development of Jamaica. Linstead culturally remains a vital part of the melting pot of traditions and influences that are very valuable to the development of the Jamaican culture. It was and it still is valuable to the development of the Jamaican culture. Linstead culturally remains a vital part of the melting pot, as I said, of traditions and influences that are valuable to the development of the Jamaican culture. Even though Linstead has evolved from its colonial days, there are many changes that are plaguing the town, which, on close examination of life in Linstead, are reflected in the town's ethnic diversity. Of course, there are some good changes and some bad ones. For example, I'll start with a monument inside in the middle of the town of Linstead. The market, the marketplace, where people go to sell their produce on a daily basis and whatever they have to sell. And I say that Linstead Market was made famous by our own world-renowned artist Harry Belafonte. And even though a vital part of the hub of activities in the town, under successful political administration, the deterioration of the market has become a sight for sore eyes. Successful political administration has failed to lift a finger to stop the deterioration of the market. Nothing was done or is in place to give a facelift to this famous market. I spoke of the entire market conditions because it hurts me to see such a famous market. That song is still being played, Kamiaki Go Linstead Market, for those of who know it, not Aquat. That song is still being played throughout the world. I've gone to a place in Brooklyn, a famous restaurant in Williamsburg, and I heard them play that song. I was surprised that in today's 21st century that song was still playing. And it's still talked about and asked about, inquired about marketplace. So when I said I spoke of the entire market condition, it hurts me real bad. When I look at the market, every downpour of rain makes it very difficult to traverse the market. I do believe there needs to be better stalls and arrangements so that vendors and higglers alike can sell their products, produce, and other items in comfort and not in the cramped competing spaces that exist. Most importantly, I notice the absence of adequate facility such as bathrooms, ensuring that users of the market, such as cooks and other sellers of delicate foodstuff, also buyers, can properly wash their hands before returning to their activities. Bathroom spaces where people can wash their hands properly before returning to selling or buying or preparing food for people. What I noticed, there's only one bathroom in that market, and I can tell you the conditions in that market is dilapidated, unusable, shameful, disgraceful. Let me put it that way. Let me raise this because it's very concerning to see how the condition of the market as it is right now. On Wednesday, October the 1st, 2025, I was parked at the back of the Linstead Post Office, a parking space for their workers and those of the EOJ office, the Electoral Office of Jamaica, because their office is upstairs the post office. So there's a parking space at the back for those people. We're employees of both offices. On that day, I saw 7 persons coming to the back. I was standing outside my car, and 7 persons on occasion, separate occasion, came to the back of the post office. And there's a bush here or there. I witnessed people defecating in the bush. I witnessed people peeing, urinating in the bush. And these are people who are coming from their stalls. These are people coming from their stalls. Now, also on the 1st and the 3rd of October, Friday the 3rd, I was there again. When I noticed 3 persons doing the same thing. And I said to myself, in 2 days I can notice 10 persons doing this. How many persons really doing this per day? Because I'm not there all day. How many persons per day is doing all of this? Which raises the concerns, the medical concerns. It became a medical alert for me. Because if people's health is a priority, whereby your health is now your wealth, then this must be. There must be an outcry against this activity. On seeing all of this, it also brings something to my mind, raises something of concern to my mind. On the report all over YouTube and the Gleaner and on the news, there was a mass shooting over in Commodore District in Linstead, an adjoining district to Linstead. And immediately, what I observe with these people triggers the mass spreading of virus or germs. And I began to ask myself, which is more devastating to the public? Each has its impact and its effect. But with the pending mass spreading of a virus or germ, for me that becomes a greater problem, a more urgent problem to really deal with than to watch it, or for people to remain silent and allow it to fester into something that can affect not just Linstead and the community all over, can affect the entire Jamaica, because many people passes through Linstead from different areas of Jamaica. And it only takes one person, one of these vendors, one of these higglers, to touch a product or a produce and give it to a seller, a buyer, who in turn goes to another seller to buy something else and spreads that virus or that germ to that person. It continues like that. This is a big failure on the part of the political directorates for that have been responsible for linseed and its environment over the years. It's a shame because the market condition, there are many people, many vendors utilizing that market, and one bathroom cannot do. There's no way one bathroom can serve that market. It's a shame. It's a shame. When I saw this on Friday, man, I really have to ask myself the question. Mass shooting, mass spreading of virus, which is more devastating to the public? Which is more devastating to the public? The impact of both is damaging. However, the mass spreading of virus, if not caught early, has no limit to its impact and effects. I am using this opportunity to call on the medical fraternity of Linstead and Spanish Town and the environment and all those around Linstead. The police in Linstead, sellers and buyers and users of the Linstead market, employees of the post office and of the EOJs, along with the political elected officials and those who are in opposition, both at the local government level and at the ministerial level. So I know Mr. Garrick is the councillor for Linstead, and I know Damon Crawford is now the elected MP represents the area. I don't know the name of the councillor in opposition, but I know Amos, Newton Amos, you are the JLP minister in opposition over in Linstead. And I'm calling on all of you people to raise your voices to bring an end to the people having to bring an end to people using the back of the post office as their private bathroom. The business community, taxi drivers, teachers, and citizens at large, please join the chorus to help bring an end to the looming health crisis hanging over Linstead and adjoining communities before it is too late. Let us all help to stop the pending mass spreading of a virus or a germ. That's where it will start. One little virus or a germ. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure Linstead market is not the only market in Jamaica under this condition. Is operating under this dilapidated and derelict condition. Unusable, unhealthy condition. I'm sure. I want to have a look at the market in Old Harbour to everyone, Warmington, because I hear you jumping up and talking about all that you have done for Old Harbour. I was born and grew up in Old Harbour, Warmington. I don't know you from Old Harbour, and I know you don't come from Old Harbour. I know you come from up in the hills. But you're talking about what you did for Old Harbour. So I'm coming to look at your bathroom too, out in Old Harbour. Because you're standing across the road and looking at the market, it's a damn disgrace it is. It is a disgrace on surface. So there can be nothing hiding behind all of that, from what I know of the market, sir. Because it can't be Linstead operating in this kind of condition alone. There are other markets, Old Harbour, Maypen, all over the place. All across Jamaica, there are markets operating under this country. And the Iglas, if you really take your own health serious, where is your voices? You are the one paying to use the market, and you can hardly find space or time to go to the bathroom. Because most market only ends up with one bathroom. It is important that you come together, raise your voices, so you get the good quality facilities you need to be able to use your bathroom, do what you have to do, wash your hands cleanly, be able to dry your hands, and get back to what you're doing. Not to walk outside or walk from somewhere wiping your hand in your skirt or behind whatever something. Come on. We're not talking about you making money alone. We're talking about passing on a germ or a virus to someone else. The very people who's buying from you. And I asked a question in the previous video. Which is worse? The lady who was selling the crab at National Hero Circle had this kind of operation in the market across Jamaica. That lady at Hero Circle must have known something about the market conditions in Jamaica. It is a disgrace. Lindsay is a rich, cultural, vibrant community. And as I can tell you, for this natural environment, natural beauty, if people who love nature, I guarantee you that if you take the time out to explore, you will see a beautiful community just sitting there. No one is talking about it. I'm seeing birds right now in Linstead that I've not seen anywhere in Jamaica for years. It's a natural habitat sitting there. For animals, for birds, for everything, for agriculture. It's just a natural, beautiful place. And this is what is happening in the middle, in the town where everybody goes to buy their produce. Now, to the Minister of Health, Dr. Tufton. I hope someone will hear this and see this video and reach out to you, sir, because listen, that is something that needs to be addressed right across Jamaica. I'm not just doing this for Linstead alone. I'm doing it for all marketplaces or market houses in Jamaica. Because it's important. You can't have someone selling me bananas who just went across the bush to relieve themselves, wipe their hand in their clothes and come back. What does that mean? You wipe your hand in your clothes at 10 o'clock in the morning, and then at 3 o'clock later in the evening you go back and same clothes, do something else and wipe your hand in the same clothes that you just wipe. What does that mean? How does that relieve anything? It is important, ladies and gentlemen, that we all join the chorus so we can create a better understanding for each other by watching what politicians do and what they say. Our survival, our existence is on a crisis, not the politicians. So we need to raise our voice and we need to come together. So whosoever want to jump up only behind PMP, don't think if it goes bad under JLP you don't suffer. And for those who want to jump up only behind JLP, don't think if the PMP fails at good governance, it doesn't go as bad for you, the JLP supporter. It goes bad for the entire country. And I've always said none of these governments are responsible for any debt. So if they run the country to a debt level where they can't pay it, you remember something. When they leave office, you won't hear the ruling government call and Andrew wants to come and pay the debt. You won't hear that. Or you won't hear the government say it's going to seize Andrew Holness' asset to come and pay the government or members of the JLP or members of the PMP, vice versa, to pay the debt. They raise taxes on you while you're struggling to survive. And you're operating in the worst condition for human being in a market where you cannot find enough space or having the kind of facility that you need to go relieve yourself, wash and dry your hand properly to get back to what you're doing. You have to be using bush. And then you talk about you're a PMP supporter and you're a JLP supporter. What are you? People, we need to wake up. I want to say, well, use this opportunity. I think I've said enough on this. I want to use this opportunity once again to say welcome to all Jamaicans on this Saturday. For those who are Sabbath keepers, I want to say blessed Sabbath to you, a blessed Saturday and all of that. And you know what? Just continue to believe in and doing what you're doing. And listen. Some things in this life is happening that we can control. There are things in life that we can control. But we can't do it alone by ourselves. If we come together, it is possible. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Welcome once again to the Lenny Robbins YouTube show. Know Your Politics. Let's come together to create a better understanding for each other by watching what these politicians do and what they say. And I've said it before, that if we're able to determine what they do, we're in a better position to determine what they also don't do. Because most of the times, what they don't do are the things that affect us most. Ladies and gentlemen, blessed love to all Jamaicans, wherever you are, home and abroad, on Saturday the 11th of October. Blessed love to one and all. Jamaica, land we love.